This part is about the power of decisions. Have you ever had the problem that you couldn't make a decision? Most of your target customers probably feel the same way. Because before making a purchase, we always ask ourselves whether the decision to buy might not be a mistake. It has been found that people are more likely to make a purchase when they take the time to justify their decision in their own mind, rather than making a snap judgment. This delayed gratification is helpful because it gives our minds time to process the potential consequences of our decisions. Even things we have been looking at on the internet for weeks, we sometimes don't buy so quickly because we are afraid of regretting these decisions after the purchase. For example, the item may look good on the internet, and then when we unpack it we realize that it is of inferior quality. Or we buy something and later have to hear from our friends or family that we wasted money. One of the most basic instincts of human beings is to avoid mistakes and to avoid danger. It is a natural occurrence that people want to avoid mistakes and danger as much as possible because these things can be detrimental to one's life. The mind, like a computer, tries its best to avoid mistakes and danger by either not thinking about them or by coming up with a plan of action that will minimize the risks. That is why there is a saying that a confused person is more likely to do nothing. As soon as we start to confuse our potential customers too much, they will suspend or postpone their decision. Of course, we would like to endlessly list all the benefits of our products or services to make potential customers decide to buy our product. However, this leads to a problem. The moment we start confusing our customers with too many details, they will not make the purchase. A good example of this is too many options. For example, when choosing an accessory for a certain device, you can very often see on internet portals like Amazon that there are various similar products. Often these products are interchangeable and differ only in price. A heterogeneous good is a good of which there are many different varieties. Often these products are interchangeable and differ only in price. For example, let's say that a person wants to buy a new car. It may be hard for him or her to find one that suits their needs. They will have hundreds of different models to choose from, each with a different set of features and characteristics. That is why it is particularly important to give potential customers the opportunity to make a purchase decision without having to take a big risk. A classic tool to make the decision easier for customers is the so-called risk reversal. In this case, the seller assumes the risk of the transaction and assures the customer that he will pay back the money if he is not satisfied. This means that you as a seller have to take a risk and that the customer may demand an exchange or compensation. Most sellers are reluctant to offer this because it is a big risk for them, and that's exactly why it works so well. Because if you as the seller take the risk for the transaction, it also means that the customer does not have to bear this risk, and that can make it easier for them to make a buying decision. Another way to make it easier for a customer to decide in favor of your own product is to make it clear to him before the purchase why your solution works particularly well. This is exactly what we do with our videos on YouTube. We offer our potential customers a certain added value before they buy, which leads some of these customers to decide in favor of our premium course product after watching our videos. Of course, this does not always work and not for everyone. Nevertheless, it is a good way to identify and pre-qualify target customers. If you position yourself correctly, it makes the purchase decision of potential target customers much easier. So what could you do to take the risk away from your dream customer?